Hi Cousin Donald, how are you? Well, we've given you our thoughts on what to do with the inner city. We think avoiding the established bureaucracy is always a great idea. You're better off starting your own show and starting it small. That's what Infallible Arch and the Australian Transition team think you should do. With regards to the inner city, we also think it'd be a great idea if you can beautify the inner city. And also must mention that with that schools program, part of the charter for the Facebooks of the world, or whoever's going to do those big high schools, would be to use established deserted warehouses and factories and that sort of thing for schools. A, to save money, and B, it's a practical and sensible thing to do. We don't want to create more vast edifices of school with lots of bureaucrats and grinning politicians taking photo opportunities in front. That's so 19th and 20th centuries. I mean, you're Bob the Builder, you're the fellow we want to see roll his sleeves up and get into it, you know. Mr. Obama was very good at the flowery speeches and not a lot else in our opinion. Now, we also think you should be giving opportunities to the richer citizens of America to contribute. Now, just mentioned before, someone like Michael Jordan, some other famous athlete, would be marvellous to do a video for not just the kids of America, but the adults of America. Why shouldn't they all exercise too? It's good for them. Also, we think it'd be great to have an ambassador for the socially disadvantaged and poorer citizens, not only of your inner cities, but of your rural areas like the Appalachians. I can't think of anyone better than Oprah Winfrey, because she's the best known woman in the world, I would think. A bit like Muhammad Ali was the best known man in the world in his time. And someone like her who's given so much, to make her a special ambassador to your poor and disadvantaged people, we think it'd be a great idea, because if you can put her together with the Bill Gates and the Mark Zuckerbergs and all those people, they can work out very smart plans that don't cost a lot to improve people's lives. And if you've got your Make America Great committees, why wouldn't they have a Make America Great Billionaires Committee or something like that? If you've got 600 billionaires, well, why shouldn't a couple of those in every state clean up a high school for themselves? Can't see why. I think what you've done is given a lot of energy to the American body politic. And I think if you do it the old way through all the bureaucracies, the energy slows down, and you know yourself from doing developments, you get all these hopeless people who hold your developments up. It's just the nature of the bureaucracy. But I think you're like a fast hunting band in the army if you can get out there and do these things without using the known bureaucracy and let the big companies handle them. Now, the other thing that's terribly important is the built environment, A, of your cities and B, of your smaller towns. Now, we don't know if you can make streets safer by making private streets. Now, my reason for mentioning this is that years ago, with a team of young Aussies, we were going through Bel Air on the way to play rugby at UCLA, and they wanted to look at the movie stars' houses. And as we went to drive down this beautiful street full of beautiful houses, a man stepped out with a gun on his hip and what looked like a policeman, was a private security uniform, said, "Sir, what is your business here?" I said, "We're just an Australian rugby team, we're just going around and looking at the house." He said, "I'm sorry, sir, this is a private street, you can't come here." So of course we turned round. Is it possible for ordinary people to make their streets private? Because if they could, I would think that would give people so much pride. I think with a better built environment, with nice surroundings in the streets, with tremendous new schools, I would think your crime rate would drop automatically in your inner cities. And the more pride people have in their environment, I think the lower the crime rate. And we've always been fascinated, was it Mayor Giuliani who introduced that really tough policing, and policing stuff like jaywalking, minor crimes reduce major crimes. We don't understand that, but apparently it's true. But we think that's the sort of thing that's fairly cheap, that smart people like Oprah Winfrey and smart people like the people who run your big companies should get together and see what they can do. Also, you're facing the rise of robots and loss of jobs. We really think that as that happens, with increased leisure, the tourism trade is going to go up and up and up. Now, if your inner cities are beautiful places, they're far more likely for tourists to visit. Smallsville, to all of us who've toured across the States, Smallsville, USA is just a delight. Beautiful, you're smaller. A lot of your smaller cities and towns are just picture perfect. Well, why shouldn't all your cities and towns have a beautiful park at the entrance, a beautiful park as you leave? And the ordinary citizens of the town, the Make America Great movement, with a bit of seed capital from the Commonwealth Government, they can do these things, because with cars we're very close to driverless cars. We have them now. Within 5 years most cars will be driverless, so you're going to have ring roads from most of these places and malls in the middle. Why shouldn't you beautify at a minimal cost every city, small or large, in the States, with beautiful parks at the entrance and as you leave? A lot of them already have this, we're aware, but that would mean more people would love coming to the United States, and we think that that is clever to do for the present, but also for the future. We think it would be a very, very clever thing to do. And the other thing that would be very, very clever to do is you have a national trail that's only been established for a few years, which people can ride horses across or bikes across. But this doesn't allow for disabled people and elder people. And we were thinking of this the other day, because in Australia you can ride a horse from the top of Cape York to the bottom of Victoria, the whole way down, I think further to South Australia. Well, that is thousands of miles. You can ride a horse or a bicycle or walk, and you're on trail the whole way. Well, if you look at the extreme beauty and the variety of the US, why wouldn't you get some really smart billionaires together in every state and, give them recognition for their work, and get them in the Make America Great movement to connect your national parks from Chesapeake Bay, from sea to shining sea. The early people who came to Chesapeake Bay said the waters were crystal clear and you could have run across the shoal of fish to the shore. How beautiful. But you've got those big forests on the east side, big forests on the west side, all the interesting territory in between. Why wouldn't you, this won't be done in a year, it may take many years, why wouldn't you, using those top private guys, those billionaires, those really smart people, why wouldn't you be developing corridors between all your national parks so that tourists, if they want to, or local people, can ride a horse from the east coast to the west coast the whole way? And this, of course, would provide employment for unemployed people in keeping those trails properly. Every 20 miles or so you'd have to have motels and other facilities for people travelling, tastefully done, outside the National Trail, of course, not in the National Trail. But my vision and our vision would be of being able to ride a horse or walk or ride an electrical trail bike that's governed at a low speed, or a small 4-speed buggy thing for elderly disabled people that's also electrical and governed, so it's all done naturally. This may take 10 years to complete, but what a brilliant thing. And when you think of money, and Donald, you are a very good businessman, my God, how many people in the world love horses and love riding horses? Millions and millions and millions of them. They could come and ride 2 states a year for 25 years for their holidays, or ride bikes or walk. And it's a brilliant thing for people in America. Ordinary people would pay small amounts to use it. There's got to be a user pay thing. And your poorest people in society can pay $1 a day or some nominal event. Everyone should pay. But that beautification of the states like that is brilliant for the tourist trade. It's brilliant for the ordinary inhabitants. And all these things can be done not at massive cost. Let local committees do it. Let the Make America Great people do it again. Thank you very much for listening. Bye. How was that?